Welcome to the Experience Strategy Podcast with Joe Pine, author of The Experience Economy and many other bestsellers, Dave Norton, an experience futurist and founder of Stone Mantle, and me, Aranza Savas, an expert in coaching, motivation, and behavior change. Each week, we bring you a trending story from the news and share our hot takes. Today, we're talking about PWC's recent Growth Through Experience report. It presents a behavioral lens for understanding and designing exceptional customer experiences that drive growth. We have lots of thoughts on what the words customer experience and experience mean and how those two differentiate. So we'll talk about that. They argue that customer experience is now more fragile than ever. I think you're going to hear that we agree with that. We're probably also going to agree with them that trust is serving as a core predictor of growth alongside price and product, something we've been saying for years. They also introduce their growth through experience model that they derived from, we believe, probably referencing a lot of our work and the research we've been doing in this for 20 years, but also their independent research with over 3,400 UK consumers and the way that they've defined exceptional experiences across 4 dimensions that we're going to talk about. They call them coherent, personal, engaging, and distinctive. They talk about the importance of meaningful experiences, something you've heard us talk about over and over again. They, as we have done for so long, show a devaluing of simple resolution and really coming from a place of understanding, creating more experience value. And they talk about seamlessness. Again, something you've heard us talk about a lot, that a seamless experience is baseline. It is not valuable. It is not meaningful, but rather it is just the bare minimum. So beyond that, you're going to see a lot of really familiar concepts in here related to context, modes, etc. And we're going to try to, in a very short time, unpack what we think you should be looking at as you review this really comprehensive body of work. Dave, I want to start with you today. First thoughts.
Yeah, so I initially get nervous every time I hear the words customer experience. Right. And a lot of that is because we have seen over the last 15 years that customer experience has been very much defined as kind of service delivery. And while there are some good things that have come out of CX, measurement has not necessarily been one of those things. The way that we think about what is an experience hasn't necessarily been part of those things. So I initially started out reticent, and then I started reading through it, and I was like, whoa, not only can I agree with this, but this sounds like us, like this, and we talk about service delivery. We talk about memorable experiences. Joe, you talk about memorable experiences. And then we've argued for some time now that where the customer is at is that they want meaningful experiences. And I just got to read this line: a clear sense of what truly moves people, not what they click, but what they feel, what they remember, what they act on, and crucially, what they come back for. What's missing is not measurement, it's meaning. That's from this first slide called A New Lens on Customer Experience. I really think that they're in the process of redefining or trying to redefine CX to be about meaningful experiences rather than service delivery.
Finally.
Looks like
which is great because
somebody that agrees with us.
this is something that we've been saying for some time, and they have a bigger microphone than we do. So maybe it will help to move the discipline in the right direction. We'll see. That's kind of what I think. I think it's also interesting that they started down this particular path in 2020. If you look at how they say this research came to be, which of course was right during COVID.
Yeah.
And that's when consumers are saying we want meaningful experiences
More
over and
than
over
ever.
again. So
Yeah.
they woke up to this idea because of COVID. We were talking about it about 15 years before
Yeah.
COVID, but hey, whatever.
It's good. It's good. It all represents progress. Joe, first thoughts.
Well, my first thought is I wanted to mention that, for those few who are watching this on video, I wore white today to counteract Dave's usually Jobsian black t-shirt, but then he went with blue. So I don't know.
If you aren't watching it, come over to YouTube,
That's
like,
right.
subscribe, show us
So,
some
so
love.
yes, I come not to dismantle this report, but to praise it. It is very, very good. It is a great attitude.
Yeah.
I'll key off first on these four, they call them behavioral dimensions that define exceptional experiences. And I'll take them in a different order than they do and start with engaging, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, let me start with distinctive, because what I do when I contrast the experiences that are the essence of the experience economy with CX, which is really a bastardization of the concept, that arose from this focus on experiences. As I talk about experiences as true distinctive experiences, right? And that's one of their four dimensions, is it has to be distinctive. It doesn't have to be bold or theatrical, they say, but it does have to feel authentic. Well, we wrote a book on authenticity as well regarding this. But experiences have to be distinctive, and the way to do that is to make them engaging. Right, a second one of their four dimensions. It's in the definition, right? My definition of experiences is memorable events that engage each and every individual in an inherently personal way. You have to reach inside of people, create a memory. In order to create that memory, you have to be distinctive, and that inherently personal way recognizes that experiences actually happen inside of us. There are reaction to the events that are staged in front of us, and therefore, the more personal you are, the third of their four dimensions, then the more you're going to engage, then the more distinctive you're going to be, and the more memorable. Right? Customization. They use the term personalization. Personalization, in my parlance, is a subset of customization, which is a subset of individualization. But anyway, all in the same direction. It's being personal. Right, is the key. It's how to be not just personalized, which is different, but personal by engaging people. And then the fourth one they have is coherent, and that is what we in the book The Experience Economy, we talk about five elements of experiences, of which the second one is that it's cohesive, right? So just a different flavor of coherent, but what it means, it has to cohere, right? In order to be cohesive, it has to hang together. It's part of a framework we have called a theme, THEME, that starts with theming the experience. And that's the only way you're truly going to be coherent, is if you have your intention stated out as a theme. It's the organizing principle for the experience. It's how you decide what's in the experience versus what's out of the experience. And that, and only that, will truly make it cohere, make it be coherent. Because otherwise it just tends to change. You don't have that North Star of what we're trying to accomplish, and you're doing all good things. And individually you look at them, hey, these are great things, but they don't always hang together. So I think those four elements that PWC is talking about here is very, very good.
This episode is brought to you by Cargo, a strategic marketing firm that we at Stone Mantle have partnered with for years. Cargo knows how to build meaningful brand experiences because they ask every prospect or client the same question. What if every customer brought you your next one? Let's face it, customers advocating for your brand, not you, is the only currency that matters now. It's the kind you earn by investing in moments that move people, experiences that hit deeper, stick longer, and spark something real. Because when something feels personal, when it truly resonates, people share it. And when they do, you don't just earn attention, you earn trust, traction, and impact that money alone could never buy. Cargo focuses on just that, inspiring advocacy, creating unforgettable brand moments that spark real connection, meaningful conversation, and loyalty that builds movements. not just market share. For a limited time and only for Experience Strategy Podcast listeners, they're offering their proprietary advocacy readiness workshop for free to a few companies who are serious about getting every customer to bring you the next. Follow the link in the show notes to sign up and tell them that Dave, Aranzis, and Joe sent you. Yeah, agree. And again, it points to why things like seamlessness are so low value, because there is no awareness of seamlessness. In order to create meaning, there has to be some level of awareness.
Rise the level of memorability. Exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
I also thought there were some really good points about measurement in here. And so they do talk about the overabundance of measures that experienced strategists of all types are managing right now. So, and that sense of overwhelm, we hear this so often from our clients that they're like, I don't know what to pay attention to. I've got billions of data points about what people are clicking on. How do I know what's important? And I think that's truer now than ever. And I think our answer would be time well spent data is the data to pay attention to. So Dave, can you talk some more about that?
Yes. So, first of all, there's another thing that they're doing, which is defining how value creation is created differently and more in alignment with what we're talking about as well. Mm-hmm. So historically, CX has talked about value creation as you'll get the customer to return. Loyalty. Mm-hmm. Loyalty has been the argument. And that's why Net Promoter Score became kind of the de facto best practice of its time. It was supposed to be a loyalty measure. It was never supposed to be an experience measure. It was,
let me interrupt for a second, Dave. You mentioned that loyalty so often devolves into, creating great experience is the way to get loyalty, particularly mm-hmm. customizing to them, remembering what they want. So you then
become invaluable. Yep.
But I see
it devolves into bribery, right? We're going
to exactly.
Mm-hmm. I give you free stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I see loyalty as the byproduct of a meaningful experience. Exactly. I don't see it as the end goal of the experience. Mm. And that's the problem. What they're doing here is they're redefining how value is created, and they're focusing on trust, which is a very different model than loyalty. The difference is, being that I know that when I come back to you in some way, shape, or form, you're either going to be better, you're going to be on top of things, the experience is going to matter, there's going to be significance that's associated with it. And so that's in alignment with what we're talking about when we talk about time well spent. Mm-hmm. If I can trust that you are going to value my time, I am going to consistently return to you. Different channels have different types of trust value, different types of time value associated with them. Some of those are for saving time. There's certain channels that we go to simply to save time. That's great. That's still time value.
Yep.
Then you have time well spent experiences. When you go into a retail environment, it should feel like time well spent. It's not a convenience. It's not necessarily about saving time. It's about time well spent. And then there are experiences that are time well invested, where you actually prepare yourself for that time, and potentially time well invested experiences can be transformative. I don't know that all of them are necessarily, but you can measure the value of a transformative experience based on time well invested. So I didn't see a lot in terms of time that they were talking about. So they haven't really tapped into that particular piece, but but a lot of the other things that they're doing seem to imply that they're headed in that direction.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It does. And I think one of the points that has jumped out to a lot of folks who've read this, just in my research of reactions to this, is this idea that we have to rethink what makes an impact, and that it's not just the rah-rah moments, the the high
Yeah.
moments of delight, but rather it's how we manage moments of frustration and disappointment. And we've always known that from a customer experience, like a traditional CX mindset, right? Would be really taking care of someone in a moment of challenge is more valuable than just providing a moment of delight. When you merge this together with an experience mindset to create an experience of deepened trust and relationship and understanding using modes-based thinking in those challenging moments is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, they didn't quite get to there yet.
Yeah.
They're still talking about moments, which is fine. I
Yeah,
mean,
they're
there's
they're
nothing new.
describing modes though through all
Yeah,
of this because they're talking about mindsets and behaviors to get a job done. They just don't
they
quite get to the getting something done piece.
well, then they did this odd thing where they have kind of like 4 journeys
Mm-hmm.
that they kind of define as the most important journeys to pay attention to.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little lost in that because I think that there's many more modes.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that what they were describing with journeys is kind of like modes, but they weren't willing to completely go there. And
Why don't you define modes for everybody, even though we talk about it all the time?
yeah, a mode is a mindset and a set of behaviors that a person gets into on a temporary basis. And the word temporary is really important because they purposely set up their life to quickly get into that mode, and then they stay in that mode as long as it takes in order to get a job done, or until their mood changes, or until the situation at hand resolves itself. There's a lot of different reasons why they get into a particular mode. And to some degree, the PWC work seemed to be kind of like more like mission type work, the old retail mission stuff, where you have your quick mission, you have your daily mission, and this is how you shop type of thing, which was really popular about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But it didn't quite go to all the way to modes, which I think is where they needed to go.
I think where they nodded to it was on page 2 of the report. And they talk about they're mid-scroll, waiting for the kettle to boil, on the sofa,
Yes.
watching something else. They're busy, distracted, curious, hopeful, or just filling a gap between moments, right? So that to me is their description of modes.
Yep.
Because it's acknowledging that we are moving in and out of modes at a rapid pace, and we have an expectation to accomplish what we want to accomplish in that moment to meet that need.
Yeah, it was almost a
They
little
don't really
bit
come
like
back to
Google's micro moments, like it was,
Mhm,
it was
mhm.
a little bit of that, which is fine. But
But
it doesn't.
it's hard to create what they call it, a term I love, exceptional experience
Mhm.
out of moments, right? You need
Right.
time to be able to engage, to be able to become distinctive, and moments don't generally do it. But again, that's a thing that would make the report even better as opposed to a criticism. And one of the things I liked is there is at the end, toward the end, they have these case studies. One was retail, actually, which is what you already alluded to. And retail needs this stuff more than any other industry. It's the one that least embraces it, which is really surprising because they have that such direct physical interactions with customers. Healthcare they mentioned, and I always say, I work more in healthcare because research shows that the better the patient experience, the better the outcomes. I mean, there's just this direct line between creating exceptional experiences and giving patients the outcomes that they want. And one on financial services I thought was very interesting because they talked about give customers not just functional service but most emotional assurance. And I don't know if that just means they're British because they tend to use the word assurance versus insurance, but they might be. I don't know. But we have a model in the experience economy for insurance companies that applies to greater financial quote unquote services. Really should be financial experiences and transformations. And it's insure, assure, ensure. Right? Insure basically means give people money when something bad happens. Assure is the emotional connection. It's the meaningfulness that you provide. It's making them feel better about what happened, in addition, of course, to giving them money. And ensure is bringing them back to whole, ensure that they are whole, or ensuring on the opposite side that whatever happened isn't going to happen. And so following that sort of model, I think would help financial companies in particular and insurance companies to provide these exceptional experiences, again, that become not just a service, but become meaningful and become transformative.
That's a good point. I like you said, Aransas, and I want to point this out. For the last 4 years, you've been writing the Stone Mantle trends reports, and a lot of the content in here sounds like things that you've been writing about for some time in terms of the value that consumers are putting on meaningful experiences and behavior change and so forth. So
that's a good sign.
And great research will out.
Yes, exactly. Well said. Well said. So with that, we promised you we're going to try to keep these under 20 minutes for you. We're doing our best, I promise, but there's so much we have to say about this. So I encourage you to take a look at it. Let us know what struck you. I think it's a really nice compliment to our work and a nice translation of many of the things that we've been talking about and thinking about. And to me, such a good indicator that this thinking has become more prevalent for more companies, and PwC has great reach. So it makes me believe that we're going to see more and more companies adopting this thinking. Really excited that they're investing in moving beyond CX into experience as a strategy, as a business strategy specifically. Fun fact, guys, next week on the show, I will have an update for you because Friday night, I'm going to a really fun experiential event. We're going to go see Punch Drunk's new show. And if you know Punch Drunk, they're the ones that created Sleep No More, which sort of redefined the immersive theater category. And they have a new show called Viola's Room. So we're seeing it on Friday, and I look forward to telling you all about it.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, for all of you out there listening, tune back in next week. We'll have updates for you. But really, we'd love to hear from you in the meantime. Let us know what you think about this report and what research you wish existed so that you could make more confident decisions for your experience strategy. Thanks for being on the ride with us.